So maybe you've launched your first sponsored product campaign thanks to the last module. In this module, what type of campaign will they be able to do?
Well, we're going to be talking about a sponsored brand campaign now. So we got the kind of foundation put together with the sponsored products. So now how do we take that to the next level and launch our first sponsored brand ad?
And what are a couple of different types of sponsored brand ads we're going to be talking about?
Well, we have sponsored brands video, which is the fun, shiny one everyone likes diving into. And then we have the sponsored brand headline search ad, which can be broken down into a product detail page ad, a store page ad, a store spotlight ad. We have all kinds of creative control within a sponsored brand campaign.
All right, let's hop back into the ad console and Seller Central and show you guys how to run sponsored brand ads.
All right, so we've done a quick navigation of Advertising Console. We've launched our first sponsored product campaign. We're feeling pretty confident at this point, and we want to start tackling a sponsored brand campaign. Let's go. Create a campaign. We see sponsored brands as a large opportunity right here. We're going to click continue. Now, similar to everything else we've done, a lot of the foundation's the same. I give the same recommendations for campaign name, nothing complex here. The one thing I would say is since we're dealing with creative, I typically put the creative in the campaign name. Maybe I am launching a video. I'm going to put video. Maybe it's a video about puppies. I'm going to put that in the name as well because as you know, the creative actually does influence whether or not someone clicks on the ad. Maybe my video with kittens performs a lot better than my video with puppies. If I have it in the campaign name, I can quickly search and I can quickly identify those opportunities. The other thing is, maybe it's not a video ad, maybe it is just a headline ad. I think we personally do HSA for headline search ad. You don't have to do that. You can do lifestyle image, whatever you think is best, or maybe you don't even want that. Maybe you just want puppies because puppies. That's probably the only difference when it comes to campaign naming for sponsored brands versus sponsored products. Recommend adding the creative element. The other thing to note is sponsored brands can drive to multiple products. If you've seen the headline at the top of the page, you'll sometimes see 3 ASINs. We don't put ASINs in our campaign name here because there's going to be a lot of them. If it's a video and it's one product, maybe we'll put an ASIN. So you can get a little creative on your campaign naming here as well. Budget philosophies, exact same as our sponsored products. Portfolio, exact same as our sponsored products. Slight differences here. Sponsor brands kind of rely on goals. And I think you guys are pretty familiar with goals already because this is actually rolled out within Helium 10 ads before it was within Ad Console. The goals are pretty much going to optimize your ad a little bit different. So I personally like to drive page visits because that is pay-per-click. I'm only going to get charged when someone clicks on my ad. It's typically more focused on conversion rate and driving people to your actual PDP. Grow brand impression share is a little bit more for top of search placements. So it's not always focused on driving to your product detail page. Sometimes it's just about serving impressions at the top of the page. Not everyone loves that, right? It's not always about impressions. It's about driving conversions. So some people run view CPM, which is cost per 1,000 viewable impressions, meaning you get charged when 1,000 people view the ad. That can still be really powerful. The majority of marketers actually run this strategy. So don't hate it from the beginning because it does give you one of the best placements on the page. But again, it's not always focused on driving sales and conversions, which is most people watching this video are probably focused on. Create an ad group. We know exactly what we're doing here. Ad format. Now this is where things get a little bit different. So we have product collection, which basically means we're driving our customers to a landing page that has just our products on it. Again, we can advertise multiple products. So we're going to drive to a landing page that has our 3 to 5 core products. We have store spotlight. This is actually driving people to our store, including our store sub pages, which is pretty cool. So let's say I'm Nike and I have a sub page for soccer cleats, shin guards, and soccer cones. I could target the keyword soccer and serve someone an ad driving them to each 3 of those pages. Store spotlight is fantastic for that. The last option is a video ad. If you're ever scrolling Amazon search results on your phone or on the desktop and you see an incredible video ad, that is a sponsored brands video ad. Now you can drive this video to a product detail page for one specific product, which is typically what we recommend. Or let's say you have a fantastic branded ad that showcases all of your products. Maybe you are Nespresso and you want someone to see every single flavor. Then I'm going to run a landing page of driving to my store, right? So you can see all these little nuances and targeting that can make this really overwhelming. But again, at the end of the day, it's still targeting keywords, just with a lot of creative control. The creative control can be overwhelming, but don't overthink it. Put yourself in the shoes of your customer. We're going to run a product collection because I would say that's one of the easiest ad types to run, and that's kind of one of my most preferred, that in a video ad. I'm going to select my products. Now, if a customer is typing in egg tray, do we think that they want to see a coffin shelf? No. So with sponsored brand ads, you need to get very clear on who you are targeting and make sure you're uploading only the products that are aligned with that search. So I have 3 egg trays here. Now, cost control we can play around with. I'm not really going to click on that. This is similar to my bidding situation. If I have a software that's going to be optimizing my bids for me, I'm not really concerned with this. So I'm going to uncheck this because I know I have Helium 10 ads running and optimizing my bids towards my specific goals. If you want to adjust your campaign to be top of search or bottom of search, you can do that here. Again, small tweak, don't get overwhelmed. And then as we scroll down, you can see we're back to our general campaign builder. Keyword targeting, product targeting. I'm going to delete these as per usual. I'm going to upload the keywords I want to target. I'm going to do exact match. Nothing changes here. It's still keywords and it's still bid management. This is what's so important to understand. Your sponsored brand ads, if ran appropriately, should perform very similar to your sponsored product ads. It's still keywords and it's still bids. You just now have a creative element that can make them have higher click-through rate, higher conversion rate, because my creative can be so good. But this is the bulk of what matters, which is why we're running through this section a lot quicker. Negative keyword targeting, same thing. Create an ad is actually pretty cool. It's going to allow you to see your product in action. Now with sponsored brand ads, we typically do have to have a creative element. So I'm going to select this photo. I mean, I can do any of these. I think they're all fantastic here. And you can see it directly on the page. That's what it looks like top of search. If I wanted to take a look at desktop top of search, look how fantastic. A few things here. Sponsored brand ads can perform.
That picture, by the way, when we're filming this, guys, eggs is very expensive. This picture is worth $1 million, literally, I think.
Absolutely. That's the second time that has came up today on just how expensive eggs are. I can tell you, this is affecting me personally. Now, I think that's a great call out though, because that image actually does drive a lot of like emotional connection. It's a lot of eggs in there in general, but when customers see a lifestyle image, it can drive them to be more likely to click. This is why sponsored brand ads can be really powerful. Or maybe you have a product that customers don't quite get. When you run a video ad or a lifestyle image, it helps them get it. It stands out on the page. When you're scrolling and you see a big lifestyle image, it stands out. So this is just a fun section you can play around with. You can look at all the different views here. Now I'm going to click done. The last thing that I'm going to have to do is, this is all a brand new interface. So again, going back to our first point, Amazon Ad Console is changing pretty frequently. So don't be stressed out if things look slightly different. This is brand new after the last few weeks. But you can see I have a green check here, a green check here, and a green check here. The reason these two are missing is because you do have to have a logo uploaded. So that's super easy. Upload your logo. And then you do have to write a headline. Now, Amazon's actually doing a great job of having AI headline suggestions. So I'm just going to click rustic wooden egg holder for eggs display. Done. And I can submit for review. I would be relatively good to go. Once I got that logo updated, this is how you create a sponsored brand ad. So you can see it's not that much more complex. It's still keywords, it's still bids, it's just a creative element. Now, if I want to go back,
how long does it take to, in your experience recently, to get approved? And then what would be some of the reasons it's not approved? Like, it's because maybe like the image doesn't go with their guidelines, things like that?
Great question. So both images and videos have a lot of guidelines. We have a brand that sells fishing equipment, and they got denied because they had a fish out of water. And it was a difficult one because it's like, that's what fishing equipment is used for, but they did not align with Amazon's creative policy. So sometimes you do have to get relatively creative. And, the ad we just ran is playing incredibly safe. It's eggs. The copy is good to go. It was approved by Amazon. That review process could typically take less than 24 hours to have that campaign live. If I put a bunch of words in my lifestyle image, or if I put anything around seasonality or claims or something inappropriate, it's going to get denied. Now, if you're walking the line, you can sometimes continuously resubmit and get around those approvals. For example, seasonality. You can sometimes get around approvals with seasonality. But at the end of the day, I mean, you have to play by Amazon's guidelines. They want it to be a great customer experience. They don't want a terrible image that's too flashy, too bright, doesn't fit within their sizes. Maybe it's really grainy. Those aren't going to work. Now, running through the same thing with video, again, it's about your keywords. It's about your bids. We're going to do the same thing, no cost control. We can still keyword or product targeting, delete, add my own keywords, and then we're going to go down to the creative process. Amazon does have a video builder. It's very templated, but all that to say, this ad is a pay-per-click ad. If I upload a video that I think is bad, I'm only getting charged if a customer clicks. Would a customer click on my ad if it was a bad video? Maybe, to make fun of me. But typically, if they're a customer navigating Amazon, they clicked because they were interested in our product. So if you don't have any video assets, I recommend leaning into these AI video builders because it's better than nothing, in my opinion. You can see the exact same approach here. We can get our video uploaded. We have the creative. It's very similar. I can submit for review. So that's pretty much it. That is a sponsored brand ad right there. All right, so we walked through that process with an ad console. We can now take a look at Helium 10 ads again, but it's still really simple. The biggest difference is, maybe we're not going to go to quick setup because that's a different type of ad. This one's a little bit more advanced. You have to have great creative. You are typically brand registered. There's a barrier to entry here. We're going to go into single campaign, best for experienced sellers. Guided campaign does also offer this, but I'm going to do single because I feel pretty experienced after that video. We're going to create a sponsored brand ad. Now, the flow is pretty similar, except for, again, we have bid strategy built into this workflow. When we're on ad console, we don't have this recommendation. This is something that has to be done post for every individual campaign. Within Helium 10 ads, we can apply our bid strategy recommendations to the sponsored brands builder from the get-go. So our bid rules and automations are going to be applied almost instantly. And if you scroll down, it's the exact same experience. So it's relatively easy to get up and running.
All right, another great episode, a lot of fun stuff. Are you guys ready to make your first sponsored brand ads? If so, you might be ready for the next module. And what's that going to be about?
Launching your very first sponsored display campaign.
All right, guys, we'll see you in the next module.